So this is an update on my constant ongoing problems with the SRAM shifter. SRAM Force CX1 1x11 shifter. You see that black bit there next to the ratchet? That's the ratchet. This bit here is a spool holder which holds the gear shift cable in place, and the cable head would go in there. Now, this is a special part made by a company called Ratio Technology, who are celebrated for making components that SRAM don't sell as spares. I bought this part. It wasn't cheap, and it was really quite difficult to install, despite the video showing it being quite easy. I couldn't do it. I got a friend with greater manual dexterity to get it in there for me. Basically, you take out the ratchet and the spool, and you take out the shifter. But the difficult part is feeding them back in through this axle, because the shifter has to go on in here, and then the axle put through it blind. You cannot see where the axle is, and you cannot see where the hole is in the shifter. It's really tricky. Anyway, the main point here is that within seconds, before the cable could even be threaded, before this could be put on the bike, before anything happened, just the process of putting this in and touching it gently caused the part of this spool holder, this OEM part which holds the cable, to just break off. And if you look at it, and you won't see it very well here, but it is the worst, poorest quality product possibly I've ever seen. Even SRAM wouldn't make something this terrible. It seems to be made of a kind of paste, and it seems to have been put in a mould, and it's just made out of something. Somebody said it looked like Bakelite, but it's worse than Bakelite. It's just the crummiest, cheapest rubbish I've ever seen. And you know, the idea that this would then go on to hold a cable under tension is just risible. It would last seconds, and it didn't even last being carefully put in into the shifter assembly. You can see there, it should be, that bit should be there, but it just broke off because it's just such a fragile, badly made thing. So you know, I'm afraid I can't recommend Ratio Technology at all. This was quite expensive for what it is. It was about 15 UK pounds including postage for this thing, which probably cost about 1 pence to make somewhere in Hong Kong or in somebody's garage. It's just hopeless. So I still don't have a solution. I mean, this part here, this cable holding spool beneath the ratchet, should be made of the very, very highest quality nylon perhaps, but I think it should be made of titanium, some ultra hard metal that is not going to break under fairly mild tension from a shifter cable. I mean, it's not taking much. It's just taking you know, the tap up and the double tap down or whatever. You know, but it needs not to perish. And the SRAM one perished and split, and this one, well, this one's a joke. I don't know what the hell they're thinking about. And there we are. I've still got a £300 carbon shifter that's good for nothing at the moment, because nothing. And even when I get this cable in, if I ever get this sorted, I'm going to be back with the same old problem with this thing, which is where are we now? Which is this bit. It's very difficult to deal with the light, which is this. The reservoir fluid for the brake goes in here. The olive goes on the far side here, in there, and the bladder goes there, and the screws go around it. But because this casing, and this is madness. This casing is made of graphite, carbon. You can see that all the holes are either shredded or starting to shred. And you know, making these holes out of carbon, which is fairly a brittle plastic, it just doesn't work. And the cheaper version of this, the rival, which is made out of alloy, it's a far better product, even though it's marginally heavy. But it's just a more suitable product. I mean, to put steel screws alloy screws into carbon, straight into carbon. You know, who thought about this, really? Anyway, that's enough of my SRAM rant and my attempts to fix it. And really, I have spent, you know, probably a week's work of time over the last couple of years trying to get this bloody thing with the brakes and the shifter to be reliable.